What if I told you that the most powerful cheating program in Roblox history was secretly shut down, wiped from the internet, and almost completely erased? Until now. I got in contact with a top-level former developer who gave me access to an unreleased version of the software the public was never supposed to see. I'm talking about Synapse X, the executor that changed Roblox. In this video, we're diving into the full story, the rise, the drama, the collapse, and the hidden deal with Roblox themselves. Most of the evidence is gone. The forums are abandoned and the devs have moved on. But after weeks of digging, I've pieced it all together. And in the end, I'm going to show you a top secret unreleased version running live for the first time ever. Around 2016, a user by the name of 3DSBoy08 made something called an executor for Roblox. It was called Raindrop. Now, if you don't know what an executor is, it's basically a tool that bypasses Roblox's security and lets you run custom scripts. With the right script, you could do things like auto farm in blocks fruits or even auto buy plants in Grow a Garden, basically letting the game play itself. But Raindrop didn't stick around for so long. Somewhere down the line, 3DSBoy08 rebranded it to something that sounded way cooler, Synapse. And Synapse? It quickly became the most powerful exploit out there. It was stable, fast, and could run almost anything you threw at it. Everyone in the exploiting scene wanted it, and it started climbing the ranks fast. But then, silence. For a while, there were no updates. 1 month turned into 2, then 3, and just when people started to wonder if Synapse was dead, in October of 2018, Synapse X dropped. This wasn't just an update. Synapse X was a total rebuild, made from scratch to be even more powerful and stable than the original. But just as Synapse X was making waves, Roblox was cooking up something big too. They were about to drop a major update that would force filtering enabled for every single game. But wait, what even is filtering enabled? Let's rewind a bit. Back in the early days of Roblox, exploiting was basically the Wild West. There were barely any rules, and Roblox's anti-cheat system was pretty much non-existent. Most games had something called filtering disabled. That meant that anything that you did on your screen, like moving stuff around or changing text, would also happen for anyone else in the game. So yeah, if you had a script that changed the text on a sign, everyone saw that change. If you deleted the map, well, everyone got booted. It was chaos. Some people even used exploits to do really weird stuff. The kind that actually got Roblox in serious trouble. So Roblox flipped the switch. They made filtering enabled mandatory for all games. That meant that you could still mess with your own game client, but it wouldn't affect anyone else. That should have been the end of exploits like Synapse though, right? Nope. Executors like Synapse adapted. New methods were found. Exploiting didn't stop, it just evolved. By 2019, just 1 year after Synapse X dropped, it had already hit 200,000 users. This was the golden age of Synapse. Sure, there were other executors in the scene, but almost none of them could compete with Synapse's power, stability, and reputation. On forums like V3 Million, Synapse was everywhere. Some praised it like crazy, and others bashed it just as hard. But no matter how you felt about it, one thing was clear. Synapse was famous, and with fame came enemies. One day, a Synapse developer made a mistake. While trying to reverse engineer a piece of malware, they accidentally infected their own system with a virus. That small error gave the hacker full access to Synapse X's source code. The hacker tried to sell it off for a lot of money, but before they could, the Synapse team made a bold move. They released the source code themselves. They weren't going to let anyone else profit off their work. But the problems didn't stop there. Behind the scenes, Synapse was starting to crack under the pressure. The code base was messy and hard to maintain, the website felt slapped together, and the security was pretty questionable. So the team made a decision. It was time to rebuild again. This time, they would go even bigger, with Synapse X 3.0. Now, this was no small update. Synapse 3.0 was the most ambitious project any executor had ever attempted. They wanted features like auto-updating exploits, a built-in package manager called SIP, and a full redesign of the UI. And under the hood, Synapse 3.0 would revolve around a single, super powerful launcher DLL. Don't worry, I'll explain what that means later in the video. The project was even nicknamed Synapse 2020 because that's when it was supposed to release. But Roblox wasn't the only game on their mind. Around the same time, the Synapse team started exploring Minecraft. They began working on a Minecraft cheat called Synapse Emerald and even launched a server of their own, syn.tv. Why? Because they had a wild plan. They wanted to buy 2b2t. Yeah, the 2b2t. The oldest anarchy server in Minecraft, famous for being completely lawless and full of hackers. But that deal never happened. The team got too busy and the project fell through. Synapse Emerald stayed online for a bit, but eventually got shut down to save resources. Then in 2020, they made things official. Synapse became an actual company, Synapse GP, with 3DS Boy 08 as the CEO. Later, it would evolve into what we know today as Synapse Softworks LLC. But Synapse's explosive growth brings up one big question. How is it able to bypass Roblox's security so effectively? Roblox is a huge platform, and you'd think it would be pretty locked down. Yet Synapse managed to find a way in. And to understand how, we need to take a look at how Roblox games actually work behind the scenes. When someone creates a Roblox game, they build it in a Roblox studio using a coding language called Lua. Once the game is ready, Roblox takes all that Lua code and converts it into a lower level format called bytecode. This bytecode is then sent from Roblox's servers to your device. But your computer can't just read the bytecode on its own, so Roblox includes something called a virtual machine, or a VM, inside the Roblox client. The VM is like a tiny built-in computer that reads the bytecode and makes the game run. It acts as a safe zone, keeping the game code separate from your real operating system. And that way, you can't get a virus from the game, and you also can't just crack open the code and mess with it. That's where Synapse X does its thing. It gets right in the middle of this process. Synapse intercepts Roblox's bytecode and injects its own code right alongside it. It hooks directly into the Roblox VM, so that when the game's code is being run, Synapse can sneak in its own scripts. This is how exploits like aimbot, auto-farming, and teleport hacks become possible. Roblox doesn't expect code to be coming from anywhere but its own servers, so Synapse takes advantage of that trust. But injecting code into Roblox isn't as simple as just dragging and dropping a file. Synapse uses a technique called manual map DLL injection. A DLL, short for Dynamic Link Library, is a type of file that holds code and resources that multiple programs can use. Think of it like a shared toolbox. Synapse creates its own custom DLL file and manually injects it into Roblox's running game process. Manual map is a stealthier, more advanced method that avoids detection from anti-cheat systems. And once the DLL is injected, Synapse can bypass Roblox's memory checks and even verify whether you actually brought Synapse X. Once all of that is in place, there's one last step, setting up IPC, or inter-process communication. This lets the injected code talk to the Synapse interface, the window that you interact with, the one with the script editor, the buttons, and the fancy dark mode UI. Once IPC is active, Synapse can run any script you give it, with full access to the game's VM. But Roblox wasn't just sitting there. Eventually, they made a big move and replaced Lua with Luau, a custom version of the language designed to be more secure and harder to exploit. Still, the Synapse team responded really quickly. They spent a few intense days reverse engineering Luau and released an update that restored compatibility almost immediately. Before we continue, I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Coopert. Coopert is a free browser extension designed to help you save money while shopping online. It's available on Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Opera, and Safari, and it already has over 8 million active users worldwide, supporting more than 200,000 online stores. One of the features I really appreciate is its price comparison tool. Let's say you're browsing a product on Amazon, Walmart, or Nike with Coopert installed. You can simply click the price alert button and it will take you to Coopert's comparison page. There, you'll instantly see if that same item is available to you at a lower price somewhere else. It's a simple way to make smarter purchasing decisions without any extra effort. So, if you shop online, and let's be honest, most of us do, give Coopert a try. It's completely free and you can install it using the link in the description. Synapse X continued to stay popular, but things were far from perfect behind the scenes. Synapse 3.0 was taking much longer than anyone expected. It was an extremely ambitious project and the team needed more funding to keep going. To support the work, they switched to a subscription-based model, $25 for 3 months. This did not go over well. Synapse had always been known for its one-time $20 payment, which was rare for executors and made it really appealing. And this change sparked major backlash. In fact, some of the team members even received death threats, all because of the switch to subscriptions, even though they genuinely needed the money to keep things afloat. Then, things got worse. A Trojan virus was disguised as Synapse X and started spreading online. Criminals used the Synapse name to trick people into downloading malware. This became serious enough that even the news picked up on the story, putting a spotlight on the issue and making the situation even more chaotic. Not long after that, Synapse X went completely offline for about 15 hours. What happened? During some maintenance, the system accidentally wiped out tens of thousands of Vietnamese bots. When all of those bots tried to reconnect at the same time, they completely overloaded the servers. The developers began thinking of other options. They had spent years learning how to reverse engineer and build cheat software. They had already tried other games like Minecraft, but nothing really took off. And as time passed, they felt more and more stuck. The longer they maintained Synapse X, the harder it was to leave. It was like they were digging themselves into a deeper hole with no clear way out. After 2021, the team started hiring more developers. The goal was to lighten the load so that they could spread out the work and hopefully give the original team a little more breathing room. It helped, but not enough. Around this time, Synapse also started facing serious competition. Some rival exploits teamed up to reverse engineer Synapse X. They dug into its weaknesses, researching vulnerabilities and finding ways to use them against Synapse. The pressure kept building until the team reached a breaking point. They couldn't keep it going anymore. One of the developers, Luca, even wrote a blog post talking about the internal struggles the team was dealing with. That post caught the attention of Roblox themselves, and heading into 2023 and 2024, Synapse X was already on the decline. Version 3.0 still had not been released publicly. Between the delays, the financial stress, the virus scare, and the mounting competition, Synapse was losing momentum. Roblox saw this as an opportunity, and they were ready to take action. Sometime back, on October 11th, 2022, Roblox made a huge announcement. They revealed that they had acquired a company called Bifron Technologies, a group known for creating advanced anti-cheat tools. Roblox wasn't just adding a new security system, they were introducing Hyperion, a powerful anti-tamper software. This kind of tool is different from your standard anti-cheat. A regular anti-cheat like Vanguard or Easy Anti-Cheat focuses on blocking specific hacks like wall hacks or aimbots while you're playing. But anti-tamper systems go one step further. Hyperion tries to stop the creation of cheats entirely. Roblox games vary so much, some allow flying, some don't, so it's hard to make one-size-fits-all rules. Instead, Hyperion tries to block exploiters from even finding vulnerabilities in the first place. With Hyperion rolling out, things got rough. Exploits and executors started dropping fast. Some vanished overnight, others pulled exit scams, taking users' money and disappearing. The community was in chaos, unsure what was real and what was bait. Devs were under massive pressure. For the first time, many of them started wondering if it was all worth it. Between the risk of DMCA takedowns, lawsuits, and endless community backlash, keeping an executor running was becoming a massive risk. And Synapse was right in the middle of that mess, caught between staying loyal to the scene and protecting their future. That's when something unexpected happened. Roblox reached out to Synapse. Roblox needed help stopping exploits, and Synapse was tired of running Synapse X. After some talks, the two sides formed a mutual and friendly partnership. But Roblox made a special request. They asked Synapse to keep the partnership private until both sides were ready to go public. That led to a full year of silence. Only the core developers at Synapse knew, since they had fewer ties to the public and were less likely to leak anything. Then, on October 27, 2023, it became official. Synapse Softworks announced their partnership with Roblox. It was one of the most shocking moments in exploiting history. The backlash was instant. People were furious. A lot of users felt completely betrayed, and some of them had even stolen their mom's credit card to buy that $20 exploit. After the announcement, Synapse stopped working on the executor. The final update Synapse X ever received was on May 4th, 2023, right as Hyperion launched on Windows. That marked the fall of Synapse X. New exploits started showing up with similar names, like Synapse Z, but none of them stuck. Within months, Synapse X began to fade into history. Even v3 Million, the popular hacking forum, was abandoned, making a huge chunk of Synapse's history disappear. That left people like me trying to piece everything back together. I had to ask former Synapse developers and other exploiters for their stories. As for Synapse X 3.0, the big project we had waited years for, it was never finished and never released to the public. But I was able to get access to the last working version from 2023, thanks to a former Synapse team member. And now, here's a full showcase of what it looked like and what it could do. While Synapse X 3.0 will never come out, and we most likely will never ever see an executor as impactful as Synapse X, we can still appreciate Synapse combining forces with Roblox to create a powerhouse of a team, and the undeniable impact that they have made to the history of Roblox exploiting and Roblox as a whole. But if you want to see how an everyday Roblox hacker actually exploits nowadays, check out this in-depth video I made on that.